What's going on, guys? My name is Christopher and welcome to It's Complicated, the show where I talk about and showcase wristwatches. So if you love watches like I do, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button, then click on the bell and you'll be all set. Today I'm going to be answering an email that I got from Michael, who's got himself into a little bit of a situation. Here we go. So I received an email from Michael, who's got himself into a little bit of a dilemma, as he put it. Right now he has a very nice four-piece luxury wristwatch collection. A Rolex Datejust 116234, a Rolex Yachtmaster 16622, a Rolex GMT Master 2 116710 BLNR, or the Batman. And he's got a Breitling Navi timer that his father gifted him. So Michael has one slot left in his 5-slot watch box, and he's looking to get another luxury watch, and he's torn between two. On the one hand, he likes the Omega Seamaster 300 Master co-axial, which his AD quoted him 4,400 pounds, and that's 5,600 US dollars. Personally, I like the Spectre version of that watch way better, but we're going to get to that. And on the other hand, he likes the Rolex Explorer 1. That's the 214270. Now, it's important to note in 2017, they started putting longer hands on that model Explorer 1 because the 36mm Explorer 1 and the 39mm Explorer 1, which I'm talking about now, used to have the same hands. So they lengthened the hands on the 39mm Explorer 1 in 2017. Anyways, I'm getting carried away. His AD told him that he can get in the Explorer 1 for 5,000 pounds. That's about 6,400 US dollars. Now, Michael also mentions that he has a friend who's also in the market for a luxury watch. He's looking for a Tag. Now, the Tag is sold at the same place as the Omega. So their thought is to send the better negotiator of the two into the store, buy both watches at the same time, and receive a much heavier discount, being they're buying two watches. Now, I think that's a great idea. But here's my issue with it, right? The Omega Seamaster 300 Master coaxial retails for 5,600 US dollars, right? But here's one on eBay, pre-owned from, I believe, 2017, that sold for under 3,400 bucks. That's a $2,200 difference. And no matter the negotiating skills, or even if you're buying three watches, that AD is not going to be able to knock off 2,200 bucks off of that price. Now, here's something else to consider. The Rolex Explorer 1 sells for $6,400, right? But second-hand, a 2017 model with the same long hands I talked about before is selling for 5,500 US dollars. That's a $900 difference. And I didn't even talk about sales tax yet, which you usually can avoid if you're buying online. I'm getting a little carried away on pricing right now, but I do get it. You got a tough decision on your hand. On the one hand, you already have 3 Rolex watches. So why not add an Omega to the collection and kind of diversify a bit? On the other hand, if you bought the Explorer 1, it's another Rolex, and now you have a nice 4 Rolex collection, and of course you have the Breitling that your father gifted to you. Now, given everything that I've said in this video, I'm going to give you 3 different pieces of advice, 3 different scenarios of advice, if you will. The first bit of advice is if you're one of these fellas that has to have the retail experience. If you refuse to look at pre-owned and you have to buy brand new at an AD, then I think you have to buy the Rolex Explorer 1. I think it fits in nicely with your other 3 Rolexes, of course, and I think it's going to hold its value a little better than the Omega Seamaster 300 Master coaxial. The second bit of advice I have for you is if you would consider pre-owned, and if you look at that Spectre version of the same Omega that you're looking at, I think the Spectre version is a lot cooler. It's more collectible. It's got a GMT bezel around the outside instead of that classic die bezel. The dial is cleaner and it has a much better second hand, plus it's limited, so it's likely to hold its value much better than a run-of-the-mill Omega Seamaster 300. Now, if you're patient, you can get a full set of one of those watches for under $8,000. Here's one that just sold unused for $8,000 even. Now, the last bit of advice I have for you is if you would consider pre-owned and you actually like the Seamaster 300 over the Spectre version of that watch, then now stay with me. I think you have to get the Rolex. You're going to save a lot of money buying pre-owned, and you can still get a 2017 version of that watch, as I mentioned before, for $5,500 US. Even if you took it to an AD to get it authenticated and you had to shell out $150 or $200 to them, you're still saving a lot of money on top of avoiding sales tax, etc. Just make sure you get a 2017 or later version of that Rolex Explorer 1 39mm, or you're going to be stuck with those shorter hands that were on the 2016s and prior. And that's my advice to you, sir. I know it's a little different than what I originally emailed you with, and the reason is when I first read that email, I thought you were talking about the new Omega Seamasters, not the Omega Seamaster 300 Master Coaxial. How many times did I say that in this video? So there you have it, Michael. Those are my 3 bits of advice for you, and thank you so much for writing into the show. So if you guys have any questions for me, send me an email and ask away. If it's a really good question, I'll likely make a video about it just like this one. And if I'm not going to make a video about it, I will likely answer your email anyway. And that wraps up another episode of It's Complicated. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, like this video, share it with all your friends, and I'll see you next time on another episode of It's Complicated.